Back now, as everyone's glued to their television sets watching the impeachment trial, we have Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Senator Bennett, all stuck in their seats. And Joe Biden has an open field out there in Iowa to really run the game. Him and Pete Buttigieg are not stuck in the Senate right now. But it looks like, despite that, Bernie Sanders is surging into the lead. As I mentioned earlier, I had the chance to sit down with my good friend Roger Stone for some dinner last night, and Roger told me that if the primaries were held today, in his view, Bernie Sanders wins Iowa and New Hampshire going away. And when you're trying to get Iowa in the bag and you're stuck in the Senate, who better to send out on the campaign trail than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Take a look.
In order for us to establish a society that truly works for all of us, we have to change our systems. We have no choice. And I'm just thrilled to do that, because what's exciting about that is that it's not boring public policy.
Sam, what do you think? Bernie surges to the lead in both, and it looks like Elizabeth Warren's fading, and Joe Biden still can't get any momentum behind him.
Well, first of all, on the Joe Biden point, I think he has also shown throughout the primary process that a lot of people thought that he would kind of have relinquished the role of front runner by now. No one was excited. I mean, he's shown he has staying power, but yeah, I think it's true. Bernie has shown even more so, perhaps, that he's got staying power. Like we were just talking about, he's got a real army on the ground that never went away after 2016, and is helping to drive the success. I mean, for me, I think. Listen, I don't know who's going to win this primary process. I think that we're going to see very soon what happens in Iowa and other early states. But I think the biggest concern for some people who care about the future of the party is not this idea that there's all the Democratic hand-wringing going on about Bernie being the candidate. To the contrary, I mean, one concern that I have as someone looking at this is, are we going to cannibalize ourselves before the end of this process? And I think we saw, late last week with Joe Rogan saying he's going to vote for Bernie, and you have a number of progressive groups coming out there trying to shame Bernie into not embracing that, when the guy's got an audience of millions of people across the country, and theoretically, that was a really important step forward to beating Trump. And I think that's really what I'm looking at over the next few weeks, is not just who wins in Iowa and beyond, but how is everybody reacting to that, and can some of the pundits kind of step back and stop trying to cannibalize and start letting the voters speak on these issues and see what happens.
Rob,
one of the big problem that Biden has right now is he has had that center lane to himself pretty much through this entire process, where that far left lane was really crowded with Bernie and Warren and a whole bunch of other people all jockeying for that far left AOC type vote. Now you got Bloomberg in the race. You got a couple of these other sort of on the fence or amorphous Democrats trying to shift over into Biden's lane, and his inevitability is gone. That veneer is gone. Biden is falling apart. He can't answer questions on the stump. He doesn't even know where he is half the time, and people have no confidence that he can beat Trump. Now, nobody really thinks Bernie can beat Trump either, but at least he's coalescing some energy in the party. And people are getting behind him because they think at least he'll run a competitive race, whereas Biden looks like he's dying.
I think Bernie has the most fervent and zealous supporters.
Yep, the Bernie bros.
And if I look across the whole field, myself personally, as a Trump supporter, the last guy I want to face is Bernie Sanders.
I think that there's a number of different arguments you can make, and there's ongoing polling, and it's going to change by the week in terms of who fares best against Trump, who doesn't. I think that we've seen polls in recent months that have shown at various times Biden and Bernie both really showing strongly against Trump in various states. I think that we're getting to the point now where I think, and then the point we're making right now about the staying power of Bernie means it's not just about Bernie bros anymore. I think if seniors in Iowa and a lot of other diverse populations are throwing their weight behind Bernie, it doesn't mean it's all about bros. I would take issue with some of the comments about Biden. I think, but the thing I would say to bounce off of your point just now is it's not just Biden I think might be concerned. I mean, we've seen, and I think you've probably seen at one point you might anticipate that you're going to make in a second, is that even Pete Buttigieg is sending out fundraising emails where he's going after Bernie and saying he's not realistic, we can't nominate this guy. So Buttigieg is saying my lane is evaporating quickly too, because now they're flipping the script, whereas before it was Biden running in the center and 3 or 4 people fighting for the progressive vote. Now if you've got Bernie capitalizing and dominating the progressive vote, do you have Biden and Buttigieg cannibalizing each other for the centrist vote? So it's interesting. A lot can change between now and next week, next couple of weeks.
A couple of these candidates are right now are auditioning for the VP slot, like Buttigieg.
Yep.
That's what he's doing. He wants to be the VP candidate for whoever wins the nomination. Bernie's big problem is that there is still a tremendous amount of resentment towards him from 2016 from people in the party who believe that he sabotaged Hillary's chances. Now, there are also a lot of people that are behind Bernie that think that the nomination was stolen from him 4 years ago. And so there's this incredible division in the party where there's certain people that won't support Bernie because of their animosity towards him. There's certain people in Bernie's camp that won't cross over and support anybody else. And if he doesn't get the nomination, you could see a very ugly scene at the convention.
Sounds like Sam might be onto something, that the Democrats are in the middle of a cannibalization process. We're going to need to have to find a kumbaya moment between them, the Democrats, to get behind one person. I want to thank you guys very much for mixing it up. Great conversation. We give you the thought process from all sides here. We're not afraid to talk about the truth and have thoughtful conversation. That's what we do every single day right here on Liquid Lunch. Sam Spokony, Robert Hornak, thank you very much. Thank you for being here with us, but stay right there. Great show coming up at you. Lauren Conlon's going to be here next. George Say, Morgan Zeggers, Corey Stern, all that and more right after this.